It all started back in 2009. I went over to my dad's house, walked into the living room, and saw my stepbrother playing World at War on his Xbox 360. He was surviving on a match of Nocturne Toten zombies. I stood there completely frozen, staring at the screen thinking, what the heck is this game? It was the literal first ever time I've heard of Call of Duty. We ended up staying up all night, taking turns on zombies, blasting Eminem's I'm Not Afraid in the background, which as an adult looking back now is incredibly cringe. But back then, it was peak hype. A few months passed, I begged my mom to take me to Best Buy, I found a copy on the shelf, took it to the counter, and the cashier gave me the absolute weirdest look. To this day, I don't know if it's because I was a 12-year-old buying an M-rated game, or because I was unironically buying the Nintendo Wii version. I took it home, loaded it up, and what followed was a chaotic, beautiful milestone that completely defined my middle school years. I jumped straight into the campaign first. To this day, World at War is hands down one of the most epic, gruesome, and brutal story modes that has ever been produced in a Call of Duty game. Limbs and flesh were flying off enemies, the atmosphere was dark and gruesome, and the sheer violence was jaw-dropping. But I was struggling hard. I spent the first half of the story dying repeatedly at the same exact checkpoints, wondering why on earth is the Wii version treating me like a punching bag. My mom actually walked into my room at one point and saw me struggling and said, "Maybe you're just not used to this version yet." It wasn't until I backed out to the main menu that it finally clicked. I had accidentally set the difficulty to veteran from the very first mission. Surviving that grenade spamming torment at 12 years old was insane, but I pushed through and beat it. The campaign was a masterpiece, but something definitely felt off. I later realized that the Wii version completely cut the mission Black Cats, the legendary level where you operate machine guns in the air and shoot down those Japanese boats in the ocean. I had played it at my stepbro's house, so losing it on the Wii was a bummer, but the rest of the campaign was so intense, I barely cared. After the campaign, I dove headfirst into the multiplayer. World at War multiplayer was simply beautiful. 3 basic kill streaks, heavy-hitting weapons, and god-tier map design. Some of the maps that I completely fell in love with were Castle, Dome, Courtyard, and even Cliffside. Because the Wii version never received any DLC, map packs didn't exist. It was so jarring visiting my stepbrother's house and seeing alternative variations like Making Day or the map pack layouts on his 360. I was like, what the heck is this? Treyarch also had aggressively stripped down the multiplayer architecture to make it fit on the Wii's hardware. They completely deleted the signal flare tactical grenade, removed all vehicular tanks, and cut the massive vehicle-focused maps out of the game entirely. But the core gunplay was immaculate. The Thompson and the MP40 were absolutely melting machines. Heavy-hitting rifles like the FG42 and MG42 packed a ridiculous punch. I grinded that multiplayer system all the way up to 3rd Prestige. My mom worked the night shift back then, so the second she left for work, I would sneak into the kitchen and steal some of her Diet Mtn Dew bottles, and sprint back to my game room. I would literally grind levels and drink Diet Mtn Dew until the sun physically came up through my window. Even back in 2010 and 2011, the Wii servers were a wild west. Lobbies were infected with out-of-bounds map glitches. You could be playing TDM on Cliffside, and some loser would exploit his way underneath the map. All you could see is his head poking through the dirt, but he could still shoot and kill you with zero counterplay. There was also an insane amount of XP lobbies where a single kill would instantly rocket your account up 30 levels. I always backed out of those lobbies because it completely ruined the satisfaction of the grind. The biggest technical heartbreak of the Wii version though? No zombies. I guess the console simply didn't have the hardware memory or processing velocity to compute AI pathfinding zombie hordes, even though Black Ops 1 on the Wii did have zombies. Maybe they figured it out by then. By 2012, I finally upgraded to the Xbox 360 and bought a copy of World at War to finally play the DLC maps. But the legacy console curse struck again. A random player invited me into a lobby, and a modder hacked everyone straight to the 10th Prestige. That completely sucked. It robbed me of an entire leveling journey. I absolutely hated school back then, especially my 6th grade English teacher. Every single day sitting in a middle school classroom, the only thing running through my brain was, I can't wait to get home, turn on my Wii, and load into World at War. It was my absolute sanctuary. Unfortunately, I never got to say a proper goodbye to it before Nintendo officially terminated the legacy online infrastructure. I know custom fan-made hosted servers exist on the internet today, but frankly, I can't be bothered to soft mod a Wii console and jump through homebrew hoops just to chase a ghost. All my hard work, my 3rd Prestige profile, and those summer lobbies are permanently gone into the void, but the Wii version was an absolute technical miracle. a staple of my youth, and I will cherish those memories forever. Drop a comment down below. Did you ever experience the chaos of a classic Call of Duty on the Wii, or did you grow up on the other console versions? I'll see you next time.